Today, we're going to show you how to connect Facebook Conversions API and HighLevel with a new updated way that Facebook just introduced. So stay tuned and build along with us. So it's almost near impossible to keep up with the constant changes that Facebook makes, especially when you're running ads. And especially this last one, when it came to Conversions API, it was incredibly confusing. And I got to be honest, it took me a little while, even myself, to figure it out. I'm going to try to do my best in explaining what you need to do and how you have to understand the difference between now there's two versions of Conversions API and which one is going to be best for you. So if you look on screen, I kind of try to fully understand this. First and foremost, to understand what Conversions API is a better way to track Facebook ads and its conversions, but through the back end versus the front end. With all the recent Apple updates and a lot of blockers going on the internet, what's happening with a lot of Facebook ads is that conversions and attribution, which means the tracking of conversions, is not working correctly, or it's over-reporting, under-reporting, and you're still not getting the best quality leads you can. Now, the reason why Conversions API and tracking of leads is important is because the more leads that Facebook knows that are quality that you have, the better it will be at finding those leads and keeping your cost and quality of leads up. So it's very important that the tracking is really on point. Now, the recent changes in Facebook has now divided basically the way Conversions API works. There's actually three different ways, probably even more, that people are using in order to track conversions. Now, right now, the two most common ways and the ways that we're going to go over today that work incredibly well with HighLevel is the lead event Conversions API, and we're going to call the funnel event Conversions API. Now, if you look on screen, the way it kind of works is this. When you run a Facebook ad, you have a choice of making it a lead form ad. That's when the form for the lead, where you're collecting name and phone number and email, is directly inside of Facebook. Then there is a funnel event kind of Conversions API, where you're collecting all that information basically either in a funnel page or a web page of sorts, and that's kind of the main difference. Now, the reason why that's so important is because before, if you were using a Facebook lead form, when it came inside a HighLevel, there was no way of really tracking that it was a lead because we're already tracking that inside of Facebook. But what happens with those kind of Facebook lead forms is that it creates a lot of garbage leads, right? A lot of leads that probably were just clicking and getting information, but not really taking action. Now, what's really cool about the lead form conversion is that Conversions API will now track as they move along in your pipeline. So for instance, they'll come in from a lead form, they'll book an appointment. So that's another conversion action you can send back. And eventually they might even buy, which is again, another conversion action that you're going to send back to Facebook. Now, what that will do is just tell Facebook, hey, get me more people that are moving down my funnel or just filling out a form. So that's kind of the key difference. Now, on the other hand, the funnel event Conversions API is going to be when you send somebody from a Facebook ad directly to a funnel page. Now, what Facebook recently did is they removed the lead event from that Conversions API. So no longer can you send a lead event back, because they want you to use Facebook lead forms instead. However, there is a workaround. Instead of using a lead conversion, you would use a complete registration conversion and send the conversion action directly back. Now, we're going to show you how to set up both, but I need you to understand, and I created a little bit of a lucid chart to kind of help you through the process, right? So for instance, if we take that lead form Conversions API, which we're going to build, a Facebook lead event will happen inside of Facebook. And what will happen is you will send that event over because there's a form that needs to be filled out. So you're still going to create a pixel, except you're going to follow the CRM path connection to the Conversions API. Now, if you're using a funnel page, you're going to go to the funnel events Conversions API setup. And then basically you're going to create a pixel. You're going to add the pixel to the page. You're going to create conversion actions inside of automations, and then also send that conversion action back to Facebook as a purchase, as a lead, as whatever you want. Just remember, when you're using the funnel, you can't use lead because they don't have it available anymore. So you have to use complete registration. So that's what we're going to be working on today. So we're going to start off from complete scratch. I'm going to use one of my accounts. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to create a pixel first. Then we're going to go in and we're going to build a form, and we're going to go through the entire process and then integrate Facebook and leads. Now, again, this might change. If the screens change, the process will still kind of be similar, but there might be one or two things changing. And again, everybody's experience when it comes to Facebook will sometimes be different depending on what update, and if you're a beta user, if you're not, there's just a lot of differences in screens. So try to follow along best you can. And if you have any questions, just pop them in the community or inside the questions here, and we'll try to answer it as best as we can. But again, this is consistently changing, and we are trying to keep up with it as best as we can here. All right, now, if you're following along the lucid chart, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create a pixel. Then we're going to start an ad that has a lead form. And again, if you don't have a lead form for an ad, you're going to have to go in there and create an actual lead ad before you do anything else, because you're going to need the form to map it to HighLevel. Because remember, this lead copy version, the requirement is that you need a lead form, a Facebook lead form. So just make sure you have that created first. All right. Then you're going to map the form in HighLevel, and then you're going to create a CRM version of the KPIs. We're going to do like the pipeline stage and everything else. And then there's going to be 2 workflows we do. The first workflow is going to just be the lead event triggering. And then the second is going to be sending a conversion action back. And then we're going to do a test at the end. All right. So let's just get right to it. You're going to go into business.facebook.com. It should automatically take you to your business page. Inside your business page, you are looking for the events manager. Now, because of everything that's going on with Facebook, it might just be in a different place. So don't panic if you don't see it, but that's what you're looking for. So I'm going to go into either all tools or settings. We're just going to go into all tools because this is pretty common. Hopefully they won't be changing this anytime soon. And we were looking for Events Manager. Inside of Events Manager, we are looking for data sets, because what we want to do is create a pixel, or we want to use the pixel we already have created. I am going to pretend that you don't have one, and I'm going to create one from scratch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, and before we connect data sources, which is the main way that we're going to connect CRM, we're going to go to data sources. And then we're going to go to our pixel area. This is where we're going to have all of our pixels. Inside here, I already have an agency CRM pixel, but again, I'm going to actually label this old one. We're going to say old, do not use, because I was using this for the test. And of course, the video did not record. So I had this whole thing done, and then the video did not record and made me very upset. So we're going to create another one. So I'm going to come over here. Notice I can't create anything here. So I'm going to go over to the left-hand side. I'm going to hit on the business settings. This is where I usually like to go. Inside of here, I go to data sources, then I go to data sets, data sources, data sets, and I went into business settings. All right. Inside of here, I am going to create another pixel. We're going to call this the Automated Marketer CRM HighLevel Agency Pixel, okay? Because this is going to be one solely directed to the CRM, right? So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to hit create. I like to create the pixel first, because then it just saves me one additional step. If I didn't have one created, then I don't have to do later on. Now that this CRM is good to go, leave it there. And then the next step is I'm going to go into my CRM, which is HighLevel, and I'm going to go ahead and go into settings. I'm going to go into integrations, and I'm going to make sure that my ad account is connected to this, because it has to be able to read the form as it goes through. So sometimes, even though it shows that it doesn't. I don't know why it's like that. And then I'm going to make sure that that's connected by doing that, and it automatically should do. Now, if there's a little bit of delay, don't panic if you don't see your form, because what I had to do is I had to refresh my screen a couple times in order to show it. So just be aware that that does happen. In here, this is already mapped, but you would just map it if you don't see a green bar, or a green check mark, I should say. And then it would be email, phone name, phone number. And I'm just going to go ahead and hit update. It's all set to go. And then from here, now I'm ready to go back into Meta and start connecting my CRM. So I'm going to go back into my events manager where I was before. I'm going to go ahead over to the green right here. I'm going to connect, and I'm going to do CRM, hit connect, hit next. Okay. Now, because I've already created a pixel, I'm going to go ahead and use this one. So I'm going to go to beautiful right here, Automated Marketer CRM. It would allow me to create a new pixel, but I'm just going to use that one. I'm going to hit continue. All right. What kind of CRM do you have? This is obviously going to be lead connector. So you're going to type in lead connector, and this is already recently changed. You're going to use a plugin. Oop. And I'm going to go ahead and hit next. The lead connector is the plugin. If you open instructions, it leads you right into here. And there's a guy in the community that made this one of a video. He did a really good job. It just goes directly for this particular one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back. Whoop, lost it a little bit. There it is. I'm going to go ahead, go to lead connector. All right. And now inside of lead connector, now that I've connected the form and everything else, I can actually go ahead and start my particular, event. So from here, I'm actually, if I just type in lead connector, all it does is take me to that page. I just want to make sure you saw that. All right. And I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to leave it right in here because we're going to have to get back to this, right? So I'm going to come on back. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my automations. Inside my automations, I've already created a folder. And again, I have mine all numbered, 05 CRM Conversions API Agency. Now, why I put CRM in front of it, because this is going to be for lead events. And actually, I should make it a little bit more clear. So I'm going to rename this folder. And I'm just going to put little parentheses here, lead event. There we go. And it's for my agency. The other one is for my course, which is the other more legacy way of doing it, which we're going to go over in this video too, so you can see both in action. Now that this is done, I'm going to go ahead and click on here. I'm going to create a new workflow. Since this is agency, I'm just going to type AG for agency. All right. And it's going to be 01. And the first one is going to, well, hold on. It's going to be new lead from Facebook lead form. All right, because I want to be very specific. I'm going to come over here, add a new trigger, Facebook lead form submitted. I'm going to be very specific to the lead form that we just mapped. So in form AM high-level CRM service, hit save action. And then the first thing I'm going to do is update the opportunity stage, because that is going to put them into the pipeline. Now, there are a couple of rules that they suggest. I'm still trying to figure out whether or not these rules are accurate inside a high level. So I just want to make sure we follow along, but this is so far what they provided. So I'm going to do opportunity, create opportunity inside of here. Give that a second to load. Now I already have a very simplistic agency, a pipeline, which is a new lead, booked appointment, and then one, because I just wanted to keep it super simple for this example. And we're actually going to be using that going forward. I'm going to come over here. I have agency leads. My first stage of my pipeline is new lead. The opportunity name, I like using, oh, let me go back a second there. Opportunity name, come in here, contact, full name with a little bit of dash, and then a phone number, because we asked for phone number in our form. So if my appointment setter is calling, they can immediately call that phone number by just going to the contact card and seeing it directly there. So just another way to do it, but that's the way we prefer it. Opportunity source, I know that this is exactly from that one Facebook lead form that I created. So I'll do Facebook lead form, AM, that's what it is, agency services. All right. And then no lead value, but I am going to allow for duplicate contacts. That's something that they recommend there. You can put a lead status, but you do definitely have to make sure that the status is open because it hasn't been closed yet. Now, the lead value, again, is completely up to you. I'm going to leave that blank because I only add a lead value when they book an appointment or when they go to one status. And again, it's for a particular service. We offer many, so it's kind of hard for us to put a price around to it, but you do want to put a price because, again, Facebook will help you find those leads that are willing to spend that and so forth. The more information you give to Facebook, the better the algorithms work in your favor. And this is definitely a good way. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save action. And then from here, I'm going to go to settings and allow for reentry just in case somebody comes through it twice. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit publish and hit save again. Hit next. There we go. And then after this is my first one. Now that brings the lead in. But when somebody books an appointment, I need to go back. So what I'm going to do is I can duplicate this workflow or I can just create another one. All right. And it's going to be AG02 for agency, right? So AG02. And this is going to be new lead booked appointment. Okay. I'm going to come in here, pipeline state changed, add a filter in pipeline, agency leads, pipeline stage, booked appointment. Hit save action. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to go back and I'm going to send the signal back, right? So it's going to be Facebook conversion APIs. And this is the crucial difference between this lead event versus a funnel event. Notice that it automatically comes into a funnel event. I want to choose it to a lead event. And this is going to be booked. Okay, the access token, we now have to go back and we have to go back to our events manager and we got to go to settings. And sometimes conversions API won't necessarily be in here, right? So if I come in here and I don't see conversions API, or actually we should go to partner. I don't know why I did that. Okay, I need to connect mine. So I went back in, I logged into the CRM again, which was logged in, again, a little error that happened. And then when I came in here, I refreshed the screen and the refreshing did do it. This happened to me before when I was setting up a pixel in a different account. Just be aware that that does happen. So then what you want to do is, once that's all said and done, I'm going to go over here and go to settings. All right, because I am looking for an access token. There we go. And what I want to do is I want to generate the access token. Once this is generated, I'm going to copy to clipboard. I'm going to go back to the CRM, access token right here. All right, now it's going to come back here and ask you for an access token. So what you're going to do is you can go to settings. Inside of settings, it's going to be right here. This is your data set ID, the old school pixel ID. They just changed the name of it. Then you're going to get your pixel ID, data set ID, drop it right in here, the stage name, and it's going to be opportunity, stage name. and you're going to save action, and you're going to go ahead and hit save again. Now I'm going to do a third one, because in my third one, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to duplicate this workflow. I'm going to call it 03. And this is going to be when somebody actually, customer one, okay? Because I want to track when somebody officially goes to the 1 status. So I'm going to come over here. Pipeline status change. This time it's going to be to 1. Facebook conversion. Stage name is all set. There's nothing really else that I need to do here. I'm going to hit save action and go ahead and hit save here. Now, awesome. I'm ready to rock and roll. Now, if I wanted to have automations that automatically move people into these stages and I don't have to do it manually, I can come over here and in my appointment, so I have an appointments folder where we do all the appointment reminders. I'm going to come over here and I created one called C1.4 Appoint Book Agency, which just for the state change. I just wanted to record it. So let me just change this so that I can read a little bit better. And I wanted to be very specific to the agency calendar on the complimentary session. So I did appointment status was the trigger. Event type is normal. In calendar, whatever my calendar is. And this one is complimentary strategy session. Appointment status is confirmed. And then I did a state change where I booked and moved the person over from that opportunity. So then this will trigger the conversion action to go back. Then I also did one when somebody pays. So in the agency service, when we send an invoice and somebody gets paid, because we only send invoices out for agency clients, and if they were in there and they had a tag of an appointment booked or that they came from a nurture right there or an agency lead of any sort, if they have the agency lead, then they're going to come in here and I put a state changed in the pipeline now stage to 1, first name and the email address, right? And then the status to 1. And went ahead and hit save. You can turn this on. But now the stages will automatically move without you having to do anything to it. Now, we'll leave it for there because the last thing that we got to do is test. So now if you go over the support documents that were listed, and again, great video by this guy. If you haven't watched it, he does a great job with it. There is a tester all the way at the bottom. Here it is, lead ads test tool. Come in here. Now there's our automated marketer, blah, blah, blah. It's got the connection and it's got the form. Now we already created a lead and then it shows success. And it should automatically generate and do whatever it needs to there, right? And we tested this a while ago, but because I had to reset it, again, it might have a little bit of an error, but this is the way that you want to create it. So then you can test it by hitting create a lead. It can take up to 7 days for the CRM to fully update inside of Meta. So just be aware of that. Now we're going to go into the second one, or the second variation, where it's going to be a funnel event CRM type, and you're going to see how that's set up. All right, so we basically went through this whole entire side. Now we're going to do one where we like to take, for instance, selling a course or doing a lead magnet that goes to a funnel page. We're going to do that entire setup so you can see it from start, what exactly it is. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a pixel. We're going to grab that pixel code and we're going to put it inside of all of our funnels and websites. We're going to probably have to verify a domain if we haven't done so already. And we're going to have to add the pixel code to a page, create the CRM conversion inside of Cappy, and then add the conversion action to the automations. So we're going to go through the entire process. Again, this is a little bit of a longer video, but we wanted to show you everything about Conversions API that you need, depending on what direction you're going to go. So we're going to go back to Events Manager, and we're going to go ahead and manage integrations. And notice we have a browser pixel, but if you wanted to create another one, you can add another pixel, add to another website, or configure events. If you don't have something in there will be a box that says create a browser pixel or create a meta pixel. A meta pixel is for the actual browser. So in this case, we already have it. I'm going to go ahead and add to another site, install code manually. I copy this code, and personally what I do is I go to Docs in Google, I open up and I label it Facebook. Right in here, I label it like Facebook and conversion action, which I should have done with the other one, but conversion action. I drop the pixel code. I drop this right here. Then I take this code right here. I copy it, and everybody always asks, where do I put it? And this is mostly where a lot of the agency stuff is going to happen. So as you can see, right in the head tracking code, I'm going to make this a little bigger so you can see it. I'm just going to drop that pixel code in here. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Once I hit save, I'm actually going to go live with it. And I have the Facebook Pixels Helpster tool, so I can see that this is in here. And obviously this is an older calendar. We haven't set that up yet. This is more of an example than anything else. So it should have sparked that on. So I'm going to hit continue, go to Pixel Overview. I refreshed and all of a sudden it started working. Guys, if you're noticing this, it happens to us too. It just, again, this is what's really frustrating about Facebook in general. The one thing that I will tell you to do is verify your domains now. So I'm going to come back over here. Now we have already verified this domain, but you would go into business settings, right? Let's just go through it again. Inside of business settings, you're going to go to data sources. actually brand safety and guidelines. You're going to hit domains. And we've already verified, but all you would do is add this, create new domain. You would put your domain in here and then add the record to your records. Now, again, we don't need to do that because this is already verified. You might need to do this additional step. Just look at domain verification. It's really easy to do. And again, we'll post them in the comments if people are having that many questions about it, but I don't want to spend too much time on that. Now that you verified your domain, we install the pixel on the page. The next thing that we have to do is we're going to go back to our events manager. So let's go back to our data sources. Let's go back to our pixels. Oh, let's try that again. Data sets. They just moved it. So here's the one that we were working on. We're going to go to events manager. And now one of the next step is to set up conversions API, but now we're going to do it not on the CRM base. We're going to do it directly in here. So we refreshed and we verified the domain. Now the next thing to do, you're going to see this right here. Setting up conversions API can help you lower it. This is usually where I go to. I hit the get started button, and then it's going to ask you how you want to add this. Now remember, we added the CRM version. The gateways, just so you understand, this involves a server side. This is very hard to set up. There are people on the internet that know how to do this well. By all means, if you want to go that way, you can. It's just really, really hard. We like to do it this way, which is the manual piece. We hit next. Once we hit next, we come in here, we hit continue. And this was the previous video that I shot. In here, you're going to notice that I see all app events. Notice that the lead event is now gone because it just went through it. But the ones we usually pick are view content. We are going to do, that's actually pretty cool. I didn't even see level achieved. This is all for apps. Submit application. You could do initiate checkout or add payment info. Purchase, add to cart, schedule. And there should be a complete registration in here that we use for, that's what we use when they're filling out a lead magnet. It just makes it really easy. Search, we're not going to do. Trial, not really. And subscribe is more for something else. Like I normally don't do that. So I think this is all set and good. I'm going to hit continue. In here, notice that it now has web, app, offline, and messaging. We have to set this for all of these. So first it's event ID because that's again, what's going to be coming through. And then literally I just check all of these. If there's a better way, please leave them in the comments. You know, this is like part of the community. We want to help each other out. I'm not claiming that I'm the expert. It's just that when we've done these setups, they work and they work well. So if we're doing something wrong by any of the means, somebody can definitely chime in and help us out. Now, you got to do this literally for each one. What a lot of people tend to do is hit continue. They now took that off, which is even better. But you'll go from one and see it gets a green check mark and it has the best practices. Then you go to another one and you do the same thing. Event ID, come in here and you're going to check all these guys out. All right. Now, I'm not going to bore you. I'm literally going to go through all of these and do the same exact thing, which is, again, event ID, and then I just click all the ones in the bottom. All right, and I'm going to pause while I do the rest, so again, I don't bore you with all these. Okay, all these were for the web. They're all checked. Like, as you can see, all I did was collect event ID in one of them, and then the rest down here. So I did everything I possibly could that I needed. Now, I think that's all you need for this. Again, if anybody has additional comments or thinks that there's a better way, by all means, please share it. But this is the way we have it. And again, it just gives you a recap of everything that you did when you do the review setup. You hit confirm, and then you could send manually instructions, but we're going to do it this way. So hit finish. Once you hit finish, it's all set to go. And we set up the meta pixel. We put it on the thing. We came in here and the gateway is all done. Amazon Web Services, we're definitely not doing. And you can use both interchangeably. You can use a CRM version when you're using the lead forms, and then you can use the conversion API when you're doing the regular thing. This is something else that we needed to understand. The next thing that you have to do is finish setting up conversions API by generating the access token. I'm going to go ahead and mark this as done because what we're going to do is we're going to go to settings. We're going to go all the way to the bottom and we're going to generate the access token. So we're going to give it a second. When it populates in the same one that you did this will be, and we just want to put name, agency, okay? And then when we generate the access token, I'm going to copy it. I'm also going to drop it down here. And just so then we have it, and again, just want to make sure you label this. That's the meta pixel up there, pretty obvious. This is going to be the access token. And then this is going to be the, well, now the data set, and we're just going to put pixel ID. I'm going to show you where to grab that, which I did before, but just in case you need a little refresher. Okay, this is all set. The data set ID should be right up here. That's, yep, right here. Oh, let me see, copy that. All right, and then we're gonna come over here, just drop that data set pixel ID in here, just so then you have this all tracked and you wanna make sure you keep it. And then from here, we are gonna go ahead and go to the overview. Yeah, we're not gonna set up the server-side tracking super hard. Look, and it's so funny, the Conversions API just updated. Hilarious. All right, so this is all set. Continue setup. Boom. We're going to go ahead and finish because we did all that. Awesome. Again, this will update. Don't worry, guys. Like I said, this thing is so super picky and it just doesn't go away. So sometimes when you refresh, everything will be good. Sometimes it takes 2 refreshes. But now that you've set all that and you have everything up, the next thing to do is you're going to go into your system. And unlike the other one, you can create automations. And I learned this from my coach, Ali Bloyd, who runs ads and is a ads queen of everything, just knows everything that has to do with Facebook ads. The way we do it in here is we create it for the event. So for instance, I'm going to come on here. And honestly, we just label it Cappy usually, and then 01. And then anytime somebody submits a form of any sort, the Conversions API goes to, this is whenever they're doing the free course of the checklist. Those are the 2 lead magnets. So all we have it is when they complete that, it completes the registration and it sends the funnel event over. Here's the pixel ID and the access token. And then, it completes the Conversions API that way. We hit save. And then what you could do is you could do Cappy 2, Cappy 3, and then basically do one for purchases. On the purchase one, we just put it on the funnel. You can put it separately. It's actually pretty smart to keep them separately like Ali told me. I just happened to do this way before we decided to do that. But if you go here in my fulfillment for one of my products, in here, I have my Conversions API going in there, what the actual purchase price is, and then the pixel ID and the access token. And then you're done. Now you have the conversion action both for the lead event and you have the conversion action for anything that's a funnel event. And again, you'll use one kind of action for one and then another action for the other. So it's just a really cool way to kind of devise and everything else. We actually kept our core purchases to our courses separate than our agency, just so then we can track 2 different metrics and data, because there we're really focused on people booking in appointments and jumping on a call. Here we actually want to look for buyers of courses to go in. So we decided to divide the pixel, and that way you could do the same. It's up to you. If you're offering services like coaching and at the same time you're offering courses, just to get different buyer personas and everything else in there. So hopefully this is helpful. I'm sorry it was so long. And again, if you have any updates or anything that you want to add that is working better for you that might be good, just please add it in the comments and add it to our community section. Again, we're all trying to beat Facebook here and we want to make sure we're giving you the best data at all times. So again, this will be consistently updating. We're going to do our best to keep you updated with the most recent facts of what you can do. But again, this by far has been one of the better ways. We've seen some really incredible results and the pixel's really super pinpointed right now. So hopefully this helps and we'll see you in the next one.